The ancient city of Eldoria, known for its shimmering towers and sprawling markets, was where Elara had built her life. 32 years of marriage, a comfortable home filled with cherished memories, and a seemingly unbreakable bond with her husband, Theron. All of it, she was about to discover, was a meticulously crafted illusion. "I need your scroll to contact Master Kalen," Theron said, his voice raspy with urgency. "Mine ran out of power, and the Guildmaster demands an immediate response about the Whisperwind mines." Elara, humming a soft tune, untangled the charging cord for her own scroll from a pile of tapestries. Her hands, usually nimble, fumbled with the knot. "It's always at the most inconvenient times, isn't it? Just 15 minutes until your negotiation for the sunken city artifacts." Theron paced the intricate tile floor, his usually calm demeanor replaced by a rare agitation. "Elder Alaric is waiting. The artifacts are invaluable." Without a second thought, Elara offered her scroll. "Here, dearest. My password is the date we first met in the Starfall Gardens." Relief washed over Theron's face as he took the device. "You're a lifesaver, Elara. I'll be quick." He kissed her forehead, a familiar gesture that now felt like a cruel deception, and retreated to his study. Elara busied herself with preparing a light repast, the scent of spiced tea filling their chambers. The scroll, still warm from her hand, unlocked instantly with Theron's touch. He dialed Elder Alaric's number, but his finger hovered over the send button. A notification, glowing faintly, appeared at the top of the screen. "Lysandra, 7:42 p.m. No one will ever suspect. The arrangements are almost complete." Lysandra, the name of their daughter's husband. A wave of nausea, cold and sharp, washed over Theron. He should ignore it, respect privacy, make the call. But he couldn't. His thumb, as if guided by an unseen force, tapped the message. The conversation thread unfurled like a venomous serpent, revealing days of exchanges between Elara and Lysandra. Theron's eyes scanned the glowing script, each message a shard of ice in his heart. "Elara, midday of the Sunstone, 3:20 p.m. Are you certain this plan is foolproof? What if Theron discerns our intentions? Lysandra, midday of the Sunstone, 3:23 p.m. Trust my methods, mother. I've orchestrated dozens of such acquisitions. He will remain oblivious. Elara, evening of the Moondial, 8:25 p.m. The timing is crucial. After the Sunken City deal is sealed. Lysandra, dawn of the Starlight, 11:50 a.m. The agreed-upon division, 60/40ths. You claim the Eldorian estate and the sealed vault. I receive my commission and the guild assets through Lyra. Elara, dawn of the Starlight, 2:18 p.m. Lyra knows nothing of this. Does she? Lysandra, dawn of the Starlight, 2:20 p.m. Not a whisper. She believes I am engrossed in a complex trade agreement. Elara, dusk of the Lantern, 4:35 p.m. I feel a pang of guilt, deceiving her so. Lysandra, dusk of the Lantern, 4:38 p.m. It is for the best. Clean break. No troublesome sentiment. Elara, evening of the Moondial, 7:33 p.m. When do I initiate the dissolution of the bond? Lysandra, evening of the Moondial, 7:36 p.m. In one moon cycle, all will be prepared. The scroll trembled in Theron's grip. 32 years of shared life, of raising Lyra, of building their legacy in Eldoria. And now Elara, his wife, was conspiring with their son-in-law to dismantle it all. Footsteps approached from the inner chambers. Elara. With fumbling fingers, Theron closed the message thread, his heart a frantic drum against his ribs. The scroll returned to its home screen just as Elara appeared in the study's archway. How fares the negotiation? Did you reach Elder Alaric? Theron met her gaze, those same gentle brown eyes that had captivated him in the Starfall Gardens. The same soft smile that had soothed him through the loss of his father. The smile that had celebrated every successful trade and kissed their daughter goodnight for 2 decades. Not yet. His voice miraculously sounded normal. Just initiating the call now. Elder Alaric's voice, resonant and clear, filled the scroll's speaker. Theron, I await your decision on the sunken city artifacts. Are we proceeding? Elara bustled around the study, a picture of domestic tranquility. How many times had he witnessed this exact scene? Elara tending to their home while he handled the weighty affairs of the guild, the very bedrock of their existence. Absolutely, Theron managed, the words tasting like ash. The terms are agreeable. We shall finalize within 30 days. Excellent. My clients are eager to conclude. The transfer scrolls should be ready by the end of the week. Every word spoken about property transfers and sealing agreements now held a sinister double meaning. Elara wanted to wait until after this deal closed. A shrewd move. Maximize the assets before the bond's dissolution. Perfect. My guild mages will review everything. The bitter irony was not lost on him. The mages he would need would be fighting against his own son-in-law. Then we speak at week's end. Good fortune, Theron. Theron ended the call and handed the scroll back to Elara. Thank you, my love. You truly rescued me. She squeezed his arm, her touch now feeling alien. You look pale. Is all well? Just weary. Much to ponder with the guild lately. The lie came easily, a skill he now realized Elara had mastered long ago. 32 years of marriage had taught him to read her expressions, but he had evidently missed the most crucial ones. They moved to the dining chamber. Elara had set the grand oak table with their finest enchanted porcelain, a wedding gift from her mother. Crystal goblets shimmered in the light of the enchanted lantern. Everything was perfect, beautiful, and utterly false. So, how was your day, my dear? Theron asked, slicing into the succulent roasted beast. Quiet. A visit to the Artisans' Guild. A chat with my sister, Lyra's aunt. Another lie. Theron found himself studying her face, searching for tells he'd overlooked before. The almost imperceptible pause before mentioning her sister. The way her gaze would not quite meet his when recounting her afternoon. How many times had she fabricated these visits? Those frequent trips to the neighboring city, supposedly for rare herbs. The healing sessions that extended late into the evening, with no visible glow of rejuvenation. New trinkets from forgotten merchants that, to his discerning eye, seemed far too costly for clearance items. Lyra sent a message this afternoon, Elara continued. Lysandra is immersed in some significant guild arbitration. Long hours. Theron's fork stopped mid-air. Indeed? What manner of arbitration? She did not elaborate. You know how secretive guild arbitrators are about their clients' confidences. Theron nodded, playing the understanding father-in-law while a tempest raged within him. Lysandra was not working on guild arbitration. He was orchestrating the unraveling of Theron's family, using his own daughter as a shield. Elara reached across the table and placed her hand over his. Her wedding ring, a circlet of woven starlight, caught the lantern's glow. The same ring he had placed on her finger in the Starfall Gardens, promising love, honor, and devotion until death parted them. Not until greed ripped them asunder. Just contemplating the sunken city deal, Theron said. A grand opportunity. I am so proud of you, she cooed. 60 years old, and still securing the most momentous agreements of your career. The praise felt like venom. She was proud of his success because it meant more for her to pilfer. Later that night, Theron lay in their bed, listening to Elara's steady, rhythmic breathing beside him. 32 years of sharing this bed, this chamber, this life. In the enveloping darkness, the disparate pieces of the puzzle clicked into place. The fleeting kisses that had become dutiful pecks. The hushed scroll calls that ceased abruptly when he entered the room. Her sudden, keen interest in the sealed vault and their retirement accounts. The signs had always been there. He had been too trusting, too absorbed in his guild duties, too comfortable in his assumptions. But now he knew and he needed an ally. 2 weeks of restless nights had allowed Theron to forge a plan. The bustling market square in the heart of Eldoria, mostly deserted on a cool midday of the starlight, offered a semblance of privacy. He had chosen a secluded alcove, his back against the ancient stone wall, a clear view of the entrance. Lyra, his daughter, her movements precise and punctual, appeared exactly at the stroke of the first bell. She spotted him immediately, her face lighting up with the same radiant smile she had worn as a child. "Father, it is good to see you." She slid onto the bench opposite him. "It has been too long since we shared a meal." "Indeed, too long," Theron agreed, attempting to mirror her enthusiasm while his stomach churned with dread. The server took their orders. Lyra chattered about her apprentices, a particularly challenging student, and plans for the upcoming moon festival. Normal daughterly discourse. Theron let her speak, studying her face for any hint that she knew of Lysandra's perfidy. Nothing. Complete innocence. "Lyra, has Lysandra been behaving differently of late?" Her spoon paused above her spiced broth. "Differently how, father?" "He has been working late more often, secretive about his guild arbitrations." She shrugged. "He claims it is guild matters, highly confidential. You know how arbitrators are about client privilege." The identical fabrication Elara had fed him. Lysandra was thorough. Theron would grant him that. "Sweetheart, what I am about to reveal will alter everything." Theron produced his scroll. "I need you to trust me implicitly." Her smile faltered. "Father, you alarm me. That night, I borrowed your mother's scroll for the Elder Alaric call. I witnessed something I was not meant to see." He showed her Lysandra's messages, watching her face transform from confusion to disbelief to something harder, something akin to cold fury. "This cannot be real." Her voice was barely a whisper. "Mother would never. And Lysandra, I know it is difficult to accept." Lyra's hands trembled as she reread the conversation. 60-40 division. Guild assets through me. Her astute mind processed the information with chilling speed. "They are using me. Lysandra has been plotting to steal from you while I prepared his meals and believed his falsehoods. I am sorry, sweetheart. I know how deeply you trusted him. All those late nights, all those confidential arbitrations." Anger crept into her voice. "He has been plotting to steal from you while I cooked his dinner and believed his lies." She looked up from the scroll, and Theron saw a steel in her expression he had never witnessed before. "The question is, what do we do about it? We stop them. It will not be easy. Lysandra knows the guild laws. Your mother has been planning this for moon cycles. Then we plan better." She leaned forward. "What do you require of me? Observe Lysandra without allowing him to suspect you have discovered anything. Document what you can. I need evidence beyond these messages. And your mother. I shall handle your mother. But Lyra, this must remain between us. No one else can know." She nodded firmly. "When do we commence?" "You commenced the moment you believed me instead of defending them." Lyra reached across the table and squeezed his hand. "I am sorry, father, for what they are doing. For what Lysandra." Her voice caught. "I married him because I believed him to be honorable. You could not have known. They deceived us both. But no longer." She straightened her shoulders. "What is our timeline?" "They plan to initiate the dissolution at the end of the moon cycle. That grants us 2 weeks to gather evidence and prepare. 2 weeks to safeguard your legacy and show them exactly who they are dealing with." Theron smiled at his daughter, feeling a genuine warmth for the first time since that terrible night. "Lyra, I need you to understand something. Whatever transpires between your mother and me, you are the greatest accomplishment of my life." Tears sparked in her eyes, but her voice remained steady. "We shall prevail, father. They chose the wrong family to betray." She left first, guild duties calling. Theron watched her walk away, straight-backed and resolute. His little girl had blossomed into a formidable woman. Now he needed to unearth the full depth of this treachery. 1 week later, Theron sat in the stark office of Master Orion. The guild investigator, scrolls and tablets scattered across Orion's ancient, scarred desk. The investigator, a man with eyes that seemed to miss nothing, studied Theron's case notes with professional detachment. "Investigations of disloyalty require patience, Master Theron." Orion's gnarled fingers tapped against a leather-bound folio. Your wife appears confident in her deception. That often leads to carelessness. I require photographic evidence. Complete documentation. Theron leaned forward. Resources are not an impediment. Understood. Based on these transaction ledgers, she favors the hidden alcoves of the Shadowfen district. The Whispering Willow Inn appears frequently. Theron's stomach clenched. How frequently? Twice weekly for the past 2 moon cycles. Always during the afternoon of the Sunstone and the dusk of the Lantern. Theron had been engrossed in property acquisition reports during those very times, utterly oblivious. What else? Orion pulled out expense summaries. Lavish spa treatments at the Obsidian Springs, purchases from the Jeweler's Conclave, and charges for 2 at intimate dining establishments. He paused. Master Theron, are you prepared for what we might uncover? I am prepared to protect what I have built. 3 days of covert surveillance confirmed Theron's darkest fears. Orion's ethereal images arrived via secure scrying pool. Elara entering the Whispering Willow Inn with a younger man, their hands intertwined. A trainer from her healing sessions, tall and powerfully built, half her age, named Rorik Stonehand. Theron researched him obsessively. 28 years old, worked at an upscale Eldorian training facility, rode a magnificent beast Elara had likely financed with Theron's guild funds. His scroll buzzed. Lyra, reporting from Lysandra's office. Father, I brought him a midday meal and saw the dissolution scrolls. Her voice trembled slightly. The asset division plans show they are preparing to take everything save for the Eldorian estate, the guild, and your collected artifacts. Anything else? Timeline notes in Lysandra's hand. They are initiating the dissolution on the 30th of the moon, precisely after your Sunken City deal concludes. A brilliant strategy. Wait until his net worth peaked, then strike for maximum devastation. Lyra, be careful. Do not let him suspect anything. Too late to fret over that. I already despise him. For more days of documentation. Orion's team captured Elara and Rorik at romantic dinners, weekend escapades to the Crystal Caves, and shopping excursions where she bought him extravagant gifts with Theron's coin. The financial ledgers showed 3,000 guilders monthly in unexplained expenses, all funding her affair. Theron spread the ethereal photographs across his guild desk like a war council planning battle strategies. Elara laughing with her lover, kissing him outside the Gemstone Emporium, entering Forbidden Inns hand in hand. 32 years of marriage reduced to folders of evidence. His apprentice knocked. Master Theron, your wife sent a message. She will be late tonight. Another healing session. Thank you, young one. Healing session? Theron almost laughed at the absurdity. Elara was probably planning her next rendezvous while he sat here cataloging her betrayals. But knowledge was power, and power was what he would need to destroy them both. Orion delivered the final surveillance report personally. Everything you requested, Master Theron. Timestamps, locations, financial documentation. Your guild advocate will possess all that is necessary for the High Court. Theron locked the evidence in his personal vault and contacted Lyra. Time for another meeting. Market Square, same alcove. What did you uncover? More than I bargained for. The afternoon of the stone moon brought gray, heavy clouds and the immense burden of secrets. Theron reached the park bench 15 minutes early, leather folios tucked beneath his cloak. Lyra appeared across the lawn, walking with purpose, her apprentice's satchel slung over her shoulder. Father! She embraced him, and Theron felt her tension. This feels like planning a war, she whispered. Because that is precisely what we are doing. They settled on the bench. Families strolled past, children laughing, couples holding hands. Normal people leading honest lives, unaware that 2 relatives were orchestrating the destruction of their own family. What did you discover about Lysandra? Theron asked. Lyra opened her satchel and withdrew copied documents. A complete asset division plan. He has calculated everything, down to the guild's ceremonial daggers. Her voice carried barely controlled anger. They are granting you the Eldorian estate and 1 riding beast. Everything else is to be divided between Mother and Lysandra's legal fees. Theron examined the papers. 32 years of building wealth reduced to line items in his son-in-law's precise hand. Guild property, investment accounts, even Elara's inherited jewels, all marked for redistribution. There is more. Lyra pointed to annotations in Lysandra's careful script. Timeline notes show they have been planning this for 6 moon cycles. Long before you found those messages. 6 moon cycles. While Theron had been proud of Lysandra's rising status, grateful for his legal counsel, he had been systematically planning Theron's financial ruin. Lyra, what I am about to show you concerns your mother. Theron hesitated. This will wound deeply. After witnessing Lysandra's treachery, I can endure anything. Theron handed her Orion's surveillance photographs, watching his daughter's face transform as she processed images of her mother with another man. The entrances, intimate dinners, shopping expeditions. Lyra's hands shook. Who is he? Rorik Stonehand, a trainer from her supposed healing facility. She has been lying about everything. Lyra stared at a photograph of Elara kissing her lover outside the jeweler's conclave. Lying to you, to me, to everyone for moon cycles while planning to claim half our assets to begin a new life with him. Lyra set the photographs down carefully. Father, I must tell you something about my bond with Lysandra. What is it? It is shattered. After witnessing his avarice, his willingness to betray you, his deceptions to me. She straightened her shoulders. I cannot remain bound to one capable of such depravity. Pride mixed with concern. Are you certain? Dissolution is not an easy path. Neither is living with one who treats family as adversaries to be vanquished. Lyra gathered Lysandra's documents. Besides, we have more pressing matters to attend to, such as destroying them before they destroy you. They spent an hour coordinating strategy. Lyra would continue gathering intelligence while maintaining her innocent facade. Theron would document additional financial evidence and prepare legal counterspells. There is one more thing, Theron said. I wish to confront them both together. Let them know precisely what we have discovered. When? Family repast this weekend. I shall invite Lysandra and inform Elara I wish to discuss family finances. Theron smiled grimly. They will believe it the perfect opportunity to manipulate me further. Lyra laughed. A sound Theron had not heard in weeks. They have no idea what awaits them. None whatsoever. She stood first, gathering her evidence. Father, after this is concluded, after we have prevailed, what becomes of our family? We shall build something stronger, something honest. Theron watched Lyra walk away, her stride confident and determined. His daughter had discovered a strength she had never known she possessed. And next weekend, Elara and Lysandra would discover exactly how perilous that strength could be. Wednesday evening found Theron in their kitchen, surrounded by transaction ledgers and financial records. Elara hummed softly while preparing their meal, completely relaxed, unaware that Theron had spent the day reviewing evidence of her betrayals. Elara, I have been examining our expenses. Theron held up receipts from the Obsidian Springs and the jeweler's conclave. Some of these charges seem unusually high. She glanced over from the simmering pot, a stirring spoon in hand. High? How is 3,000 guilders monthly at Eldoria Spa's high? 500 at the Gemstone Emporium last week alone. Her expression shifted subtly, still pleasant, but more guarded. Dearest, I am merely tending to my well-being. Is that somehow wrong? I am not suggesting it is wrong. Theron kept his tone reasonable, confused rather than accusatory. But should we not discuss expenses of this magnitude beforehand? Elara turned fully toward him, abandoning meal preparation. Theron, you are making me feel as though I require permission to spend coin after 32 years of marriage. Do I not deserve pleasantries? Perfect manipulation. Turn financial irresponsibility into relationship criticism. Make him the villain for asking questions. Of course, you deserve pleasantries. Theron backtracked slightly, playing the role of apologetic husband. I am merely seeking to better understand our budget. You have never fretted over coin before. She moved closer, touching his arm. Are we facing financial difficulties? Should I be concerned? Another deflection. Now she was the worried wife, selflessly concerned about family security. Theron had to admire her technique. Utterly shameless, yet expertly executed. No financial difficulties. The sunken city deal alone will yield 2 million. He watched her eyes light up at the figure. I suppose I am merely being overly cautious. You work too diligently. That is the problem. Elara kissed his cheek. Perhaps I should reduce my spa treatments. We could both benefit from more time together. Brilliant recovery. Sacrifice the small expenses to avoid scrutiny while positioning herself as the devoted wife willing to make compromises. Do not cut back on anything. Theron gathered the receipts, pretending to accept her explanations. You are right. After all these years, you have earned the right to pamper yourself. Thank you for understanding. She returned to cooking, the crisis apparently resolved. Sometimes I believe you forget I am not merely a homemaker. I possess needs, desires, and dreams of my own. Dreams like stealing his guild assets to finance a new life with her 28-year-old lover. But Theron nodded sympathetically. You are absolutely right. I become so focused on guild matters, I forget about everything else. Elara beamed, clearly believing she had successfully managed the situation. That is why I love you, Theron. You always listen to reason. He watched her finish preparing dinner, noting how easily she had lied, how smoothly she had manipulated the conversation. 32 years of marriage, and he was finally seeing the real Elara, the woman who could look him in the eye while planning his destruction. But next weekend, he had a special family repast planned, and Elara was about to discover that her performance had not been quite as convincing as she had believed. 3 weeks had passed since their kitchen confrontation. Theron had spent the time finalizing evidence and coordinating with Lyra. This Friday morning, he entered their bedchambers carrying Elara's favorite morning brew, Starfall Bloom tea with honey, just as she had enjoyed it for decades. My love, I brought your favorite. Theron set the steaming mug on her nightstand. About last week's argument, I was being unreasonable. Elara's eyes opened, instantly alert. Theron, you are so sweet. I did not wish for us to quarrel over coin. Neither did I. Theron sat on the bed's edge, playing the role of apologetic husband. You are right. After all these years, you deserve to enjoy yourself. She smiled, that same charming expression he had fallen for in the Starfall Gardens. I appreciate you saying that. Actually, I have been thinking. Theron sipped his own brew, letting the idea develop naturally. We should do something special this weekend. Invite Lyra and Lysandra over for a repast, like old times. Elara's face brightened immediately. What a splendid idea. It has been moon cycles since we had a proper family gathering. Does the eve of the Starfall work for you? Perfect. I shall ask you to prepare Lysandra's favorite. That roasted phoenix with mystic herbs he always praises. Theron kissed her forehead, tasting the bitter irony. You are the best wife a man could ask for. After Elara headed to the bathing chambers for her morning routine, Theron contacted Lyra from his study. Sweetheart, repast tomorrow night, the 7th bell. Are you prepared for this? Lyra's voice carried nervous determination. As prepared as I shall ever be. Do you possess everything we require? Complete documentation, images, financial ledgers, Lysandra's legal scrolls, everything. And Mother still suspects nothing. Completely confident. And Lysandra? That is my next call. He will be thrilled to come. 20 minutes later, Theron dialed his son-in-law's guild office number. Lysandra, good to hear your voice, son. Theron, excellent timing. I was just contemplating contacting you. Indeed? About what? Oh, merely checking in. You seem more relaxed of late, less burdened by guild matters. An interesting observation. Lysandra had noticed Theron's improved mood since gathering evidence of his betrayal. Elara is right. I work too diligently sometimes. Speaking of which, how about joining us for a repast tomorrow? Elara is preparing your favorite phoenix. Sounds magnificent. Lyra and I would be delighted to come. Excellent. The 7th bell. And Lysandra, bring your appetite. Elara is planning something truly special. I would not miss it. Thank you for thinking of us. Theron hung up and leaned back in his leather chair, surveying the evidence folders locked in his desk drawer. Photographs of Elara's affair, financial documentation of her deception, Lysandra's conspiracy scrolls photographed by Lyra. Tomorrow night, his family would finally learn the price of betrayal. The eve of the starfall arrived with unseasonable warmth for the season. Theron arranged crystal wine goblets while Elara put finishing touches on the formal table setting. Their wedding porcelain, crystal stemware, everything perfect for what she believed was a celebratory family repast. Theron, does this appear correct? Elara adjusted the centerpiece, white star blossoms from their garden. I desire everything to be beautiful for the children. Absolutely perfect. Theron opened a bottle of their finest Eldorian Cabernet. This calls for celebration. The chime of the enchanted doorbell echoed precisely at the 7th bell. Lyra's punctuality, inherited from him. They are here. Elara practically bounced toward the entrance, genuinely excited about hosting family. Theron followed, watching his daughter embrace her mother, while Lysandra shook his hand with characteristic confidence. Both looked relaxed, unsuspecting, Lyra performing her role flawlessly. Something smells incredible, Lysandra said, loosening his tunic. Elara, you have outdone yourself again. Just your favorite phoenix with those mystic herbs you love. Elara beamed under the praise. Come, let us be seated. Theron has opened our finest wine. They settled around the dining table, warm light from the enchanted lantern casting a false intimacy over the scene. Elara served generous portions while Theron played gracious host, filling wine goblets and proposing a toast. To family, he raised his glass. To the bonds that hold us together. To family! Everyone echoed, crystal chiming against crystal. Lysandra cut into his phoenix enthusiastically. Elara, this is of guild master quality. You should open a catering establishment. Oh, you flatter me too much. No, I am serious. You possess a true talent for hospitality. Lyra smiled at her mother, then caught Theron's eye across the table. The slightest nod, she was ready. So, Lysandra, how fare things at the guild firm? Theron asked casually. Many interesting arbitrations of late? Busy season, most certainly. Much family law work arriving. People dissolving their bonds, asset divisions, that sort of thing. He paused to sip wine. Must be challenging work. All those emotional situations. One learns to remain objective. Focus on the legal aspects rather than personal drama. Elara nodded approvingly. Lysandra is so professional. Always places clients first. Family comes first for me, Lysandra corrected, reaching for Lyra's hand. Everything I do is about building our future together. Lyra's smile remained perfectly in place, though Theron noticed her grip tighten on her wine goblet. More wine, anyone? Theron stood, refilling goblets around the table. We are celebrating tonight. No reason to hold back. What exactly are we celebrating? Elara asked. Family loyalty, Theron said, settling back into his chair. Trust. The things that truly matter in life. Lysandra raised his glass again. To loyalty and trust. They drank, and Theron excused himself from the table. I shall retrieve the dessert. Instead of heading to the kitchen, Theron walked to his study and retrieved the evidence folders from his desk drawer. 5 leather-bound folios, each meticulously labeled and organized. The complete documentation of betrayal. Time to serve the real dessert. Theron returned to the dining room carrying folders instead of dessert plates. Elara looked up with confusion as he placed 1 folio in front of each person, keeping 2 for himself. What is this, Theron? Elara's voice carried the first note of uncertainty Theron had heard in moon cycles. Where is dessert? I have prepared something more interesting than dessert. Theron remained standing, positioning himself where he could see everyone's reactions. Evidence. Lysandra frowned at his folio. Evidence of what? Your conspiracy to steal my guild assets and destroy our family. Theron opened Elara's folio first, spreading surveillance photographs across the table like a dealer revealing cards. Elara and Rorik entering the Whispering Willow Inn, intimate dinners at romantic establishments, shopping expeditions where she bought him extravagant gifts. Elara's face went ashen. Where did you acquire these? Professional investigators. Very thorough ones. Theron turned to Lysandra's folio. Your turn, son. Lyra reached across and opened Lysandra's envelope herself, revealing photocopied legal documents, asset division plans, timeline schedules, and financial projections showing his expected percentage from the conspiracy. How did you? Lysandra's voice trailed off as understanding dawned. Lyra photographed these during her visit to your office last moon cycle. Theron smiled at his daughter. She has been quite helpful. Lysandra turned to his wife in shock. Lyra, you knew about this? I knew about your avarice. Lyra's voice carried a steel Theron had never heard before. Your willingness to betray my father while pretending to love our family. You do not comprehend the legal complexities. I comprehend that you plan to steal everything he has worked for while lying to my face every single day. Elara had been examining the affair photographs with growing panic. Theron, I can explain about Rorik. No need for explanations. Theron opened his second folio, revealing financial documentation. 3,000 guilders monthly financing her affair. In bills, restaurant charges, expensive gifts for her boy toy, all funded by his guild's success. It is not what it appears. It is exactly what it appears. A conspiracy between my wife and son-in-law to destroy my life and steal my assets. Lyra stood abruptly, facing Lysandra with a fury Theron had never seen from his typically gentle daughter. How could you do this? I trusted you completely. Lyra, please, if you would just listen. Listen to more lies? She laughed bitterly. I have heard enough lies to last a lifetime. Lysandra reached for her hand. I love you. Lyra slapped him hard. The sound echoed through the dining room like a gunshot. Do not you dare speak of love while planning to rob my father. She grabbed her satchel and headed for the door. Lysandra stumbled after her, calling her name desperately. The front door slammed. The thrum of a riding beast starting echoed from the driveway. Elara and Theron sat alone in the shattered dining room. Surveillance photographs scattered between the remains of their celebration repast. Theron, she whispered. What happens now? Theron began collecting the evidence folders methodically. Now you discover what happens when you betray someone who actually knows how to plan ahead. Elara stared at the photographs spread across their dining table like evidence from a crime scene. Her hands trembled as she reached for her wine goblet, then thought better of it. Theron, dearest, I can explain everything. Her voice cracked with desperation. This is not what you think it is. Theron moved to the window, putting distance between them. Outside, the street looked normal. Eldorian homes with warm lights. Families living honest lives. Elara, I have witnessed enough. Photographs do not lie. But I love you. She stood, reaching toward him. Lysandra manipulated me. He convinced me you were planning to leave me with nothing. Lysandra manipulated you into having an affair with a trainer? That's different. I was lonely, confused. You were greedy. Theron turned to face her fully. 3,000 guilders a month on your lover while planning to steal my guild. Tears streamed down her cheeks. 32 years of marriage must mean something. You cannot just discard it all. I did not discard it. You did. Every time you met Rorik at an inn, every time you and Lysandra discussed dividing my assets. Elara sank back into her chair, surrounded by evidence of her betrayal. What do you desire from me? What will it take to mend this? Nothing can mend 32 years of lies. They were not all lies. I did love you once. Once. The word hung between them like a death sentence. But not enough to remain faithful. Not enough to protect what we built together. She picked up one of the surveillance photos, herself laughing with Rorik outside the jeweler's conclave. How long have you known? Since the second moon cycle. Every in-visit, every expensive meal, every lie about healing sessions. Why did you not confront me then? Theron collected the folders methodically, stacking evidence like a prosecutor preparing for trial. Because I needed to comprehend the full scope of your betrayal, Lysandra's involvement, the legal conspiracy, everything. What happens now? Tomorrow, I am filing for the dissolution of our bond. My guild advocate has everything prepared. Elara's face crumpled. Theron, please give me another chance. I will end it with Rorik. We can seek counsel. The woman I married would not have needed a second chance. People make mistakes. This was not a mistake. This was a calculated plan to destroy my life and steal everything I have worked for. Theron headed toward the stairs, leaving her alone with the wreckage of their marriage. At the doorway he paused. You should contact a guild advocate, Elara. You are going to need one. Upstairs, he could hear her sobbing in the dining room. 32 years of marriage, reduced to evidence folders and legal proceedings. But justice, he had learned, was not always pretty. Sometimes it was just necessary. Monday morning found Theron in the elevator ascending to the 42nd floor of the Eldorian Guild.